Joseph R. Biden is officially the President of the United States. Freedom at last, ladies and gentlemen from the Donald. Despite basically inciting a terrorist attack at the Capitol, you gotta admit, he made politics a reality TV show. He changed the game. He broke records, guys. Two-time impeachment champion, lowest approval rating than any other president, made most false claims than any other president in U.S. history, and most importantly, made political jokes so much more easier that any idiot with a podcast can make them now. Yet his reign is done, as Auntie Kamala and President Biden have made it to the White House, and boy, do they have so much planned.
With unity, we can do great things, important things. We can right wrongs. We can put people to work in good jobs. We can teach our children in safe schools. We can overcome the deadly virus. We can reward work and rebuild the middle class and make health care secure for all. We can deliver racial justice, and we can make America once again the leading force for good in the world. This is our historic moment of crisis and challenge, and unity is the path forward. And we must meet this moment as the United States of America.
Biden has proposed so many great and amazing ideas, such as increasing minimum wage, climate change reform, a public option under Obamacare, and most importantly, he actually has a federal plan to stop the COVID crisis. Crazy, right? I thought you just had to snort some baking soda. But I feel like that's the whole point. We have forgotten that this office has some decency to it. We have a president that can spell now. What else more do you want, right? But Democrats, I know, are going to have this thinking. They're going to try to compare Biden's actions to Trump's, and they can't. Because in reality, Trump is Trump. When it comes to being presidential, you think these guys are in the same league, but in reality, they don't even play the same sport. Anybody could have been a better president than Trump. My dog could have been a better president than Trump. Trump's shat on American principles and democracy. Kobe doesn't even shit in the house because he knows he's a true patriot and he won't get his chew to it. But that's my point. We should not compare and analyze his policies for what they used to be, but what they actually are. And that is the first thing I want to talk about. Because many of his policies, or his addition that he's adding, are half-measured approaches. These are things that fix the policy, but maybe not the system. And that is a big problem. He will implement many bandage solutions, and we don't want that. Right? For instance, during the Obama administration, many people were proud of their accomplishments with the Paris Climate Accord, which they should be. Many climate scientists agree this was a step in the right direction, but that did not do enough. It simply didn't. But to be fair, right, nobody knew that President Trump was going to end up winning that election, right? People thought Clinton was going to win and she was going to add on to his policies. And that is why Biden has also proposed a $2 trillion climate change, economic and climate change deal, which is, again, amazing. But there are some concerns with this, as the fact that 4 years from now, he may not be president. A Republican may be president, and just like Trump did, may wipe out all the climate change progress that he's made. And also 2 years from now, there's midterm elections. And then if the Congress goes back to Republican control, he won't be able to pass any of this. Just like what happened to Obama in 2010. Right? Democrats, after that, lost control of Congress for 11 years. Right? Or what you're thinking over him, he has the first 2 years, he can do something now, and you're right. But we must also remember that Republicans did not lose seats, they gained seats in the House this year. And many moderate Democrats don't necessarily agree with politicians on progressive and systematic changes. It's a little phenomenon known as being an asshole. Taking money from big organizations and being an asshole. Many Democratic and Republican congressmen take money from the healthcare and oil industry that could be a potential huge backlash to his proposals. So it should be noted also that many of these legislation will also take time. So as Democrats and Republicans debate and figure out these problems with Biden, the biggest concern, the biggest question that we have is how much will Biden compromise? How much and to what extent will he compromise? He said it himself, he's going to be the compromise candidate. He will be the American candidate. He's basically offering a thrift shop. He has everything, and all you got to do is just vote for him. But how can you be the American president for Americans like this?
Hey, fucking hey, man. Glad to see you guys. You guys are fucking patriots. Look at this guy. He's got covered in blood. God bless you.
You good, sir? Do you need medical attention?
I'm good, thank you.
All right.
I got shot in the face. I got shot in the face with some kind of plastic bullet.
Any chance I could get you guys to leave the Senate wing?
We will. I've been making sure they ain't disrespecting the place.
Okay, just want to let you guys know, this is like the sacredest place.
I know. Hey.
Why is this officer acting like this is a rare collection or something? It's the Senate chamber, not your action figure case. What happened at the Capitol is the perfect example of how divided we are as a nation. So how can he be the American president for people who do this? We can't even agree on terrorism anymore. And the worst part is people are still defending this. One of them might be going to jail soon, maybe, hopefully. We never know. But don't tell me not, if this was black people, they would be tear gassed and hosed down. If this was Muslim people, there would be a war in the Middle East. Like, what were the Capitol Police doing out there? They were taking selfies with these people. If I don't shave and go to the airport, I got 20 TSA agents looking at me. Look, there are millions of people who voted for Trump and who are not going to support these policies. And that is the biggest fear, is the fact that he will compromise to them. And we can't afford to do that, especially during this pandemic. Will he bail out the rich again? Like what happened in 2010? Will he fail to provide a social safety net? We can't go back to normal. We have to create a new one, and President Biden can. He has the ability to change our country. And he can win these people over. And there are two ways that we politicians win people over. One is rhetoric. Trump used that. It somehow worked. But two is to implement actual policy that helps and benefits everybody regardless of this rhetoric. Prior to FDR, for instance, nobody could imagine the federal government intervening in national interest. The Republicans have spread so much propaganda on the inability to do so. And FDR just said no, and he passed legislation that is still active today. There was a reason he was elected 4 times. The Great Depression had showed the status quo was not working, and he needed to change the game. And we have all seen the consequences of this pandemic, from racism in the criminal justice system to people not even able to afford to get health care. Look, there are going to be times where Biden is going to have to compromise. I totally understand that. But to what extent will he be able to control this and actually fix the system? That goes back all to my original point. But Biden can do this. Biden can completely change the game. The question is, what Biden will we see these next 4 years? Will we see the one who does what is right? Or will we see the one that focuses on stability? But as you keep saying, Mr. President, we will keep the faith.